Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Basilisk Reacts. For today, we are finally getting into BTS as solo artists. I have done a video on the Boracity Guide, a guide to BTS for skeptics, haters, and non-pop fans. And when we got to the J-Hope section of the guide, there was a snippet used, and it was so intriguing to me. I really liked only the small fragment that was heard. I think it was only 1 second, guys. But I asked you guys in the comments, yo, what song is this? Because I want to check it out. And I've said it earlier before, right? After seeing the guide, then we can go into the solo artists, and I'm really excited to really start my sequence of checking them out as solo artists. So first up is J-Hope, Airplane. We're going to be watching it together, and after we're going to go for some first impressions, and we'll talk about it some more in the analysis. So thank you guys so much for sticking around, giving me recommendations, and just overall your support. I really appreciate it. Let's get into it.
그때 나를 다시 기억해 메마른 땅이 나보 태울 때저 푸른 하늘 보며 뛰었네 날고 싶었어 그 에어플레인 그때 나를 다시 기억해 메마른 땅이 나보 태울 때저 푸른 하늘 보며 뛰었네 날고 싶었어 그 에어플레인 아직도 난 안 믿겨 광주 토박이의 비행사 매겨 높고 높았던 꿈의 자리에서 아름다운 세상 을 나고 있어 눈 탁 떼쳐 일본 행때 느낀 슬레임 아직도 생각해 그게 내 꿈을 이루게 지금을 만들었게 everywhere 이젠 네 슈에 플래시 터질 때 안전한 도착의 축복을 담을게 God bless 그때 나를 다시 기억해 메마른 땅이 나보 태울 때저 푸른 하늘 보며 뛰었네 이제 원 없이 날아 에어플레인 누군가도 나를 기억해 그 누군가도 질투도 외롭게 hey yeah. 신경 안 써 그저 웃게 돼 Bring champagne in my airplane 구름 위를 매일 구름 위를 매일 구름 위에 내 feel 구름 위에 check it 구름과의 케미 구름과 하루 종일 구름 타는 재미 구름 보면 fading 너희 몰라 maybe 몇 년 동안의 비행 탓을 말리지만 몇십만 대못 이룬 너희들을 위로해줄 때야 그 비행 포인트로 선물할게 Love airplane mode 신경 다 off 그 누구든지 뭐라던 그 적에서 first를 지키며 밤하늘을 볼게 지금 내 자리에 만져 그때 나를 다시 기억해 메마른 땅이 나보 태울 때저 푸른 하늘 보며 뛰었네 그때를 생각해 이 에어플레인 누군가도 나를 기억해 그 누군가도 질투도 외롭게 hey yeah. 신경 안 써 그저 행복해 성공을 느껴 in my airplane
So first impressions, guys, what really caught my attention was the beat, the instrumental, and more specifically the synth that is used. I don't know if synth is the right word, but the sound that is underlaying the instruments. It's a bit faster. I could not produce that same kind of sound, and it's a bit higher as well. So actually, I'm nowhere near creating that sound myself, but that to me sounds very chill, right? It has somewhat of a urban city at night with the lights on, that kind of vibe, and I really like that specific vibe. So the instrumental to me was very nice, and the rap part, so J Hope's part. I don't know. Maybe I was a bit thrown off because, of course, we know J Hope as a very energetic, positive, optimistic member of the group. And now that I'm seeing him as a solo artist, he certainly he gets more freedom to really show the audience, the world, what he is capable of and what his ideas are when not having to take into consideration all of the other members and BTS. So this is very interesting, right? Because he, with this one, my very first exposure to J-Hope as a solo artist, is already very I wouldn't say contradicting, but unorthodox, maybe not even unorthodox, but it just comes as a surprise. I did not expect to see this from J-Hope. So the story is fairly easy, right? It starts off by being a dreamer, dream chaser, vision on the future, and well, eventually getting to a point where you get to sit in the airplane, and he addresses the haters very briefly as well. So yeah, just humble beginnings all the way to the top. Yeah, I think in big lines that is the message of this song, but we are going to dive into the analysis and pause a bit more, and yeah, zoom in on some things I thought was really cool. So yeah, let's do that, guys. Right, so this is the sound that I'm talking about. Can I do it? And I really like the scenery. So when I see videos like this as solo artists, right, I really am intrigued by all of it, because I think, okay, so this is now J-Hope, raw J-Hope that we're seeing. And then I'm paying attention to the scenery, I'm paying attention to how this camera is set up. So this to me is already very much in line of the Midnight City kind of vibe with the lights on, right? And of course, we can see the atmosphere. There's a small edit that it seems like it's in space. Yes, that is a very nice vibe that I just want to dive in. I just want to live in that specific vibe. So this to me, this is looking like a wallpaper to me, and I really love this. This even more. And then you can see J-Hope entering the scene, just walking alone, right? I think that is also a very interesting thing to mention, because the feeling of you walking alone, let's say taking a stroll through the city alone versus with one friend or two, or maybe a small group of 5 or 7, right? BTS. It's way different, and the dynamic changes from 1 to 2. I think the most, right? It's the biggest change. And then from 2 to 3, it's a bit smaller, the change. The change is still noticeably there. But for this specific vibe, I think it is a loner vibe. And I love it. Okay, so I have to address the fact that I was a bit too soon with my first impression, my way of describing it, because he does start off by saying, I remember when. So he's looking back from the success position that he is in now, instead of starting in that position of wanting more, you know, very ambitious, and then reaching that success. He is already in that position of success.
저 푸른 하늘 보며 뛰어내 날고 싶어서 그 에어플레인 그때 나를 다시 기억해 메마른 땅이 나보 태울 때저 푸른 하늘 보며 뛰어내.
Yeah, and I really like these shots. I think personally this shot, what it is alternating, so this one I really like because it still has that, you know, it's a bit low energy. And this just seems very loud. The visuals are very loud because of course you have the movement, and that alone would not be a problem to me, right? To me, if the ceiling wasn't so loud as well, because you can see a lot going on in the ceiling, so it creates almost twice as much things going on. So personally for me, I wouldn't go for a shot like this, but the idea I think is good. Right? I think this shot right here is way different. Way different. You have the same principle, but this doesn't seem as loud as the shot before that. Let's just rewind a bit so you guys can see. Right? And this too, right? This is also looking very yeah, what I would call very chill, low key. And there's a very clear line. It almost it looks like you know, I have watched some anime, and when you have a rooftop, you have I don't know this. I don't think it is actually exclusive to anime, but those are the shows that, to me, show these kinds of rooftops that have edges that are you know, increased in height, so you can lean over it, but you cannot fall from it. And I think this, right, with the skyline, or with the sky in the background, it seems as if he's sitting at that location. So Gwangju's natives aviation madness, right? I think I'm missing some context here, because when I read this, it almost seems to me it kind of shifted a bit, right? The story of the theme of airplane, I think, can be used in many scenarios or approaches to it. And I thought it was going to be an analogy to reaching success, right? So I remember when I was still running around on the floor looking at the sky and thinking I want to be on an airplane one day, you know, really traveling the world, seeing the world, beautiful world from above. But then here, it almost seems like there's way more to the airplane story than just the analogy of success. Because Gwangju natives aviation madness, and I think he goes further on, you know, some more specifics, which was making me think maybe it really is more about airplanes than just the analogy. But Gwangju, you know what, guys? Let me just look it up, right? So we can get a better understanding. Gwangju. City. Oh, it's a city. Okay, so what Gwangju's natives aviation madness. So I think 6th largest metropolis. It is designed metropolitan city under the direct control. Okay, so yeah, I don't really know what the metropolitan, what that term, I don't know what it means, right? Metropolitan meaning, please. Relating to or denoting a metropolis or large city. Okay. Large city. So I think, right? I think I'm gonna have to do way more research to really get satisfaction out of my question here, Gwangju's natives aviation madness. I think I'm gonna fill some holes in myself. That it's a city that is also the major airport center, right? You know, all of the flights having Gwangju as a as a stop between destinations, maybe, and Gwangju maybe being a pioneer when it comes to really building that airport and the facilities for traveling. Okay, that I don't know, guys. Now in the very place of dream that was so high.
자리에서 아름다운 세상 will not go 있어 눈탁 때첫 일본 행때 느낀 슬레임 아직도 생각해 그게 내 꿈을 이루게 지금을 만들게 everywhere 이젠 네 슈에 플래시 터질 때
Alright, he's looking back on his success from the beginning, mentioning his first trip to Japan, butterflies. He will never forget it. So this is kind of a look back on his success and the stories that he achieved for his personal goals, right? Because it was always a dream of him. So this is yeah, very nice, and it does add some perspective, you know, more depth to the character, to J-Hope as a member of BTS.
완전한 도착의 축복을 담을게요 그때 나를 다시 기억해 메마른 땅이 너무 태울 때 저 푸른 하늘 보며 뛰었네 이제 원 없이 날아 에어플레인 누군가는 나를 기억해 그 누군가도 질투도 외롭게 hey yeah 신경 안 써 그저 웃게 돼.
Right, so upholding that addressing the haters, I think, is a very common theme. Actually, I have checked out some BTS songs, and I must say that addressing the haters is I wouldn't say a big part of BTS, but it certainly is noticeable. So yeah, I think it has something to do with, of course, the fact that it wasn't as easy as many people may think when they just see the success. They never see the hard work, the hours that are required to achieve such success, right? So yeah, haters, they're always gonna be there, and they're always addressing the haters. So yeah, it must play a big role in when it comes to BTS, because they keep addressing. And I don't know if that will fade, you know, because of course this is 7 years ago uploaded, right? Maybe this was a more intense period of time for the members of BTS when it comes to dealing with haters. But I think that it must naturally fade the bigger they get, right? As Ash and myself have mentioned, it's almost to this point where they are the biggest of the biggest. The bigger they become, the less sense it makes to be a hater. To me, I think it is the way it should go. So maybe it fades, but yeah, I will not be very I will not find that out anytime soon, because there's just so much to check out, right? This is 7 years ago. Tomorrow I'll be uploading one that's 4 years ago or even 10 years ago. So yeah, for me to really be up to date, it's gonna take some time, guys.
구름이야 내필 구름이야 jacket 구름과의 케미 구름과 하루 종일 구름.
So right, really showing that life has changed so much that now I am just with the clouds. I'm flying over the clouds every day. Life has changed so much to me, and You know, I just laugh at it. You know, the haters. You know, I'm drinking champagne in my airplane. Life is different now. It's it's way different. Fun riding the clouds, fading in with the clouds. Yeah.
사는 재미 구름 보면 fading 너희 몰라 maybe 몇 년 동안의 비행 탓을 말리지만 몇십만들
And then here, this part to me was just again, you know, showing me all lyrics that I thought were a bit too specific to treat it like solely treat it like an analogy because mileage close to 1,000,000.
못 이룬 너희들을 위로해줄 때야 그 비행 포인트로 선물할게
I'll give the flight points as a present. Now it's getting a bit deeper, you know, on what the world is looking like from a frequent flyer. Because I imagine, I am not a frequent flyer, but I imagine flight points are points you gather from flying, from traveling a lot, and maybe there's some kind of a stamp card when you fly with a certain airplane company. You get a free flight. When you've reached 100 flights already, they give you one for free, maybe.
선물할게 love airplane mode
Or, and correct me if I'm wrong because I don't know for sure, but I think also flight points can be interpreted as the points needed for a starting pilot to get access to certain flights or certain airplanes. I think that is also referred to as flight points. You know, just another term to show how much experience you have flying as a pilot. So maybe something like that, guys.
할게 love airplane mode 신경은 다 off 그 누구든지 뭐라던 그저
Right, airplane mode. Turn off all the concerns. Airplane mode referring to, of course, when you grab your phone and turn it on to airplane mode. So blocking all the signal and you not being able to make calls or take calls. Just turn all the connection off, all the concerns off.
그저께서 first를 지키며 밤하늘을 볼게 지금 내 자리에 많고 그때 나를 다시 기억해 메마른 땅
Very nice. Yeah, I think it's nice to see J-Hope as a solo artist because of course I have always seen him in a group setting in BTS and now it just feels like I can spend some time with him one on one, right? So this is very nice. And I think the scenery every time the scenes are very very soothing for the eyes because this car as well, right? It just has that somewhat of a classic feeling. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm into cars that much, but when it comes to the JDM scene, which is roughly described the Japanese cars that are drifting and some mods are placed, a bigger spoiler, different rims, wide body, all that. Right, those cars, I think I can recognize a few, but this one to me is very new, and it is looking from what I see here. It's looking when I look at the front, it actually is looking like an old Porsche, but or Porsche, and the back, yeah, doesn't. So there's it is a Porsche. Okay, so I think it's a very now I don't know rare one, but not as popular one.
뭐라던
But it's looking good, right? It's looking very good. And the thing with older cars, it's way more impressive for an older car to be in this mint condition because there has been so many years of weather conditions or just usage of the car. So to find an old car in a very good state like this,
그저께서 first를 지키며 밤
right? It's super clean. It certainly adds to the scenery. The fact that it is an older looking car, but it is in such great condition. Yeah, that if you were to replace this car with just let's say a Volkswagen, Golf, Volkswagen Golf, it's a very, very common car. I think it gets a whole nother feeling, right? So maybe I'm making that up, but to me, this choice is also very artistic, and I love the scenery of it.
하늘을 볼게 지금 내 자리에만큼 그때 나를 다시 기억해 메마른 땅이 나 불태울 때저 푸른 하늘 몸에 뛰었네 그때를 생각해 이 airplane 생각해 이 airplane.
Yeah, so I don't know what that means, guys. Maybe it is symbolizing letting go of the old J-Hope, the J-Hope that was just staring at the sky, and now embracing, the new J-Hope that has years of experience flying, traveling all over the world, maybe, but I'm not sure. This scene right here, right? Releasing the dog tags. Releasing and letting it behind, because you can see in the car that he is advancing. So he is changing his location and he is leaving behind the dog tags. Right? All J-Hope here, right? All different J-Hopes. Airplane. Very nice. I think, yeah, let's have some closing words for you guys. Let's look for a nice, I think I'm going to be using a shot with the car, as the thumbnail. So let's see which one we'll pick. This is looking like a nice shot, right? Wow. Okay, yeah, so we can really see. Oh, let me enlarge it for you guys again. You can really see what the car is looking like. Yeah, it's looking like a very nice car. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna spend some time looking for the right thumbnail I can use. But I think it must contain the car. I think it's very very cool looking. A shot where we can see J-Hope clearly and the car clearly. I'm gonna have to look through all of the frames. But yeah. So yeah, guys, I think it was very interesting because, of course, it doesn't. I did not expect it to be something like this. I was expecting more of a upbeat, more energetic, and maybe he has some solo performances where he does perform the way that people would expect of him. But this is maybe even more so interesting, right, for someone getting into BTS. So this was very interesting. It was a fun watch and it was a chill watch. I really liked the scenery. I really liked the music and the message as well. Actually everything except for, of course, the shot that I've shown where it was a bit loud, the visuals. But other than that, it was a very chill production. So yeah, my taste as well. So super interesting, and I am very interested and excited in checking out more of J-Hope, really see what he is capable of, what his ideas are, and of course very interested in the other members of BTS. So I did ask some questions when it comes to snippets that I've seen in the guide. So there is, I think, Jimin as well that I will be checking out. But when it comes to them as solo artists, please guys, let me know what you think I would enjoy or you think I would find interesting or is interesting, right? I only started out, let's say, a month ago, so I don't blame you for not really seeing what I would find interesting or what I would find fun, right? But if you think it is interesting, of course, it's more likely that the experience when it comes to BTS is more on you guys' side than it is on my side. So I'm very curious to see your recommendations for me. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me for today's episode. And I'll see you in the next.